Hi everyone. So we are finally getting to climate change. We had a lot of learning to do to get here and to have a good discussion about it. And this is just the start. I heartily recommend that you read chapter 13, especially from page 399 on. It's got a lot of very good information. I can't cover all of it here, but it's well done. And so I really recommend that you read up on it so that you have a voice and you have knowledge about what was in the past and what is in the future. Let's get started a bit on what we're going to talk about. And I frame the work that is in the book. So my lectures are not a replacement for this very controversial topic. It's just an addendum to the controversies and the information that is really well grounded in the text. When we talk about climate change, we're not just talking about temperature. That's why we so extensively went into climate classification, because it is temperature and precipitation. And the two of them go together. Everyone talks about the climate, everyone talks about the temperature increasing and the human activities that are associated with that. But climate involves precipitation too. It's pivotal, and we are going to talk about it as well. When we talk about climate, this is what you hear. You hear all about temperatures and departing from means over a year's time. This is NOAA data, and most of the data that I'm using in this lecture is either out of NOAA or NASA, or I've used a bit of Cal Poly in here and Jet Propulsion Laboratories in here. Really well done resources that are well respected. So this is out of NOAA, and this is the temperature data that you hear about all the time. And this is also out of a reputable source for climatology, and this is talking about from the 30 days in November 2016 and the anomalies that raised global temperatures in average of 2.7 degrees Celsius. So you're seeing that, and that's very, very worrisome. And that is the temperature that you're noting all about. And I want to bring into line that we're talking precipitation here as well. We're talking storms. And when we talk storms, we can talk about number of events or total cost. But severe storms, like you see here, are a very important part of climate change. And now you understand why, when there's more energy in the atmosphere, there's more convection in the atmosphere, there's more condensation in the atmosphere, and you can have more serious storms. Strangely enough, they're not costing nearly as much as they could because we've grown accustomed to them. Hurricanes are different, and this year, and the relentless hurricane barrage on Louisiana and Mississippi may just turn the tide a bit in an acknowledgement of precipitation's role in climate. Now, I'm going to read to you from your text, and I thought you might find this interesting, and I wonder if you know who wrote this. So the person who wrote this says, "A change in our climate, however, is taking place very sensibly. Both heats and colds are becoming much more moderate within the memory even of the middle-aged. Snows are less frequent and less deep. They do not lie below the mountains more than 1, 2, or 3 days, and very rarely a week. They are remembered to have been formerly frequent, deep, and of long continuance. The elderly inform me that the earth used to be covered with snow about 3 months in every year. The rivers, which then seldom failed to freeze over in the course of the winter, scarcely ever do now. This change has produced an unfortunate fluctuation between heat and cold in the spring of the year, which is very fatal to fruits. In an interval of 28 years, there has been no instance of fruit killed by frost in the neighborhood of Monticello. The accumulated snows of the winter, remaining to be dissolved altogether in the spring, produce those outflowings of our rivers, so frequent then, and so rare now." Now, do you know who wrote that? The person who wrote that was none other than Thomas Jefferson in 1781. and he was commenting on the end of what's called the Little Ice Age, which effectively just a few years previous to that had frozen the Delaware River so that George Washington could get across and attack the British and the Hessian soldiers at Trenton and effectively turned the tide of the war in the 10 days that rocked the world. So our obsession with climate change is not new, and climate has always been something that has been looked at and discussed and obsessed over. And so I wanted to give you some context there for that. There are plenty of easy explanations for climate, and most of them go over that these are normal patterns that will resolve themselves. And we'll go over a bit of that. We'll go over measurements and data from the way past, and then climate change due to events in the way past, links to climate changes, and current events that cause climate change in this set of videos. I went over that. And let's go over the easy explanations. You'll hear a lot about El Nino. This year it is La Nina, which produced a lot of the hurricanes in the Gulf. And now you understand a little bit more about why that can be so. But you'll hear these things go back and forth, and they'll just change back and forth, and everything will be fine. And we will get to a little bit more of that in the next video.